By the way, what we do is not clever. It's just how the human body should be fed.
Tell me, you mentioned in the beginning that some of the kind of like world-class experts you've got on your course, one's a biochemist. Is that, are we talking like hormones and things here? Is that where that fits in?
We sit and talk more of as a group, and then we all put our sort of 10 pennies worth in. But it's got to the point now, actually, where because the program has been running for best part of coming up to 8 years, and it's the same rules, for want of a better phrase. The rules of feeding the human body don't change over those 8 years, really. You know, the biology of human body is the same, will always be. So we find now that we don't have so many of those long meetings anymore because everything's kind of been covered. We do keep up on latest things, and I listen to other bits and bobs, and I sometimes discuss those things. But usually they're very faddy things that come out that, oh, the latest thing now, and it just makes no sense. It's just a trick, really.
And I mean, do you educate, or do you advocate for the, you know, I guess for the hormonal rebalancing of things with clients? And I'll flesh the question out a bit more. So I started. I mean, listen, I've never not exercised, but I've probably also never been like a gym obsessive. But you know, I started my, let's say, marked fitness improvement journey probably a couple of years or so ago now, just over 2 years. You know, there was a particular event that started it, and I ended up seeing a doctor in Dubai just by coincidence. I mean, I just started going to the gym and eating better, and somebody said to me when I told him I was just, you know, trying to lose a bit of weight, he said, have you had your hormones done? Have you had your bloods done? You should go and see this doctor. And it turned out that I actually knew the doctor anyway, so I thought, yeah, I'll go and see him. And he specialised in anti-aging, in hormone rebalancing, etc. So we went and did my bloods, and particularly on the testosterone. You know, if you'd have said to me, look, as a layman, you know, I always associate, as I'm sure most people do, testosterone with shagging. And that's all there is. It really is to think about. And you know, so if you'd have said to me 2 years ago, do I have a testosterone problem? I'd have said absolutely not. When I got my bloods done, my levels, so our levels worked to, let's say, from 200 to 800, 800 being the equivalent of a 21-year-old guy or something. I was at 425, which it wasn't problematically low or anything like that. You know, it was fine for my age, but was obviously 50% off where I would have been at 21. And then when I started to learn and understand that testosterone was also massively impactful on energy, on muscle growth, on fat burning, on sleep, bone density, everything, on sleep, anxiety, and any of these things, I started to think, oh, well, okay, I could maybe understand why I could do with some improvement. And so I started the TRT a couple of years ago, and I always say that I do its PR for free. You know, I mean, I've sent literally 35 of my mates to this doctor, and within 2 or 3 months, I mean, the material change in me, and I say that from someone who, you know, listen, I'm not saying I've ever been in the best shape, but I've always felt 20 years younger than I am, or rather, I've always thought I'm 20 years younger than I am, and had, you know, reasonable amounts of energy, and you know, pretty optimistic and positive. But fucking, I mean, honestly, the change in me since then, both in terms of let's say the quantity of exercise I do, the lack of tiredness I've got, the motivation, the energy, it's just absolutely night and day. And you know, I'm a massive advocate now to anyone of of the bloods, of the hormone rebalancing, of the fact that this, yes, not taking away exercise, not taking away nutrition, but for all the exercise and nutrition in the world, with hormones being off balance, I think, you know, you are fighting an uphill battle. And
you'll be surprised because when you eat, and by the way, what we do is not clever. It's just how the human body should be fed, right? So when you eat a balanced plate of food, and that balanced plate of food is relatively specific. So a lot of people think they eat healthily, and they eat healthy food, but it's not balanced healthily, and there's a big difference. So when you balance the plate of food and have it balanced throughout the day with hydration, water, you can research this yourself, well known for balancing hormones. When your hormones are balanced, you are building a machine that works at its optimum. When it works at its optimum, it burns fuel efficiently, which is fat, and builds and maintains muscle mass. And as I said earlier, your hair, your skin, everything comes, your anxiety disappears, you sleep better, all these things. Now, that's just, everything in the world works better in balance, right? You've got sun, moon. If you didn't have the whole thing would cave in. Yin, yang, positive, negative. You know, like when you've got a swimming pool and the pH balance of the water is off, it will go black and toxic. Balance. And I use those analogies. And also, the reason we balance it throughout the day is because if you imagine a log burner, do you know what a log burner is? As in a fire.
Logs, I guess.
Yeah, in the house. It's in like, you know. If you want that fire, or any fire really, I've got a log burner, that's why I mention it. If you want it to burn fuel efficiently all day, you start off the day and you put your paper and your kindling on, you light it all up, and then you put your log on and the fire's burning. You wouldn't wait for it all to fizzle out, turn to ash again, then go back in and say, right, I'm going to put the paper in. Just chuck a log on every now and again and it will burn forever. It will never stop as long as you just chuck another one on when it needs it. And if you imagine the human body that way, again, it's all about balance. And when you eat in balance throughout the day, you balance your hormones, you're a different machine, not just testosterone, everything.
You used to suffer from bulimia.
Yes.
I mean, is that a long time ago? Or?
For over 30 years, I struggled with bulimia, yeah.
Which ones, is that making yourself sick?
Making myself sick, yeah. Like all the time, every day.
So from childhood?
It happened when I was around about 13, and my psychotherapist lady on my team, actually, I did bring it up to her, and we identified that was when I was bullied. That's when I started getting badly bullied, and I was in a really dark place at that point. The bully weed on me more than once, and I did nothing about it because I was scared and struggled to fight back from that. So I think that was maybe my way of controlling something. Apparently that's kind of the psychology behind it, but then I carried that on for another 30 years.
And so were you overweight at that time then? Is that why you were
Not at that age, no. So I don't really know why I chose that method. But and then I guess I got to this point where I would eat and it would feel like it was always stuck here and I had to release it. And the only way for me in my head to do that was to stick my fingers down my throat. But then I'd go like an all-you-can-eat buffet and I'd eat till I was bored. You know, just stupid, really.
You were getting banned from the all-you-can-eat buffet to that trip, weren't you?
But you know, like when you're on holiday, and you know, my wife knew. I would come out, she'd see my eyes watering, and you know. But
and by that point, when you were happy, you were married, you had kids, you're doing karate, etc. I presume not worried about bullying. I mean, it was just psychologically stuck with you.
I think so, and also it would But when I ate the six-pack revolution way, I never had the urge to do it. So it must have had something to do with the bad food as well. I want to get it out of me, maybe.
So you were still doing it up until the point that six-pack revolution started.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had the odd relapse since, but it's pretty much non-existent now. Yeah, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, it's non-existent. Unfortunately, I went through that.
Do you have other people who suffer from these kind of things on the course, and do you work with them? You help them?
Yeah, well, it's funny you should say. You said earlier, actually, and I think I went off on a tangent, but you said earlier about what gives me the why me to be able to sit on this platform and do this stuff. Well, yeah, I've been through the bullying. I've been through the eating disorder. I've been divorced. I've lost a little boy. I've done all these things.
Lost as in passed away?
And so all these things have happened. And I guess, would I change them now? I'm not sure I would, Matt, actually, because it's put me in the best job I've ever had in my life. And I love it. And I'm changing lives every day. And I can empathise with pretty much most things that come my way because I've been, a dark place is a dark place sometimes. And even it might not be the same dark place. If you've been in a dark place, and trust me, when someone pees on you, it's pretty dark.